Hey everybody, welcome back to Notes to Self. My name is Melanie.
And I'm Cory, her husband.
And we were both born and raised in a polygamous church here in Utah called the Apostolic United Brethren, or the AUB. I was raised with 4 mothers and 34 brothers and sisters.
My dad had 9 wives and 39 kids, all running around in a compound up in Pinestone, Montana.
Yeah, so we have been watching for the first time. Okay, so we've been watching Sister Wives for the very first time. We are on season 3, episode 10. Of course, this season has taken us a really long time to get through because life keeps happening, and I ended up in the hospital, and Cory, it's just been a busy couple of months, but we are definitely going to get through season 3. And thank you guys for your feedback on one of our last videos, because it kind of gave me a different perspective. And I think we're going to continue watching Sister Wives and giving you our perspective on it. We might format it a little bit differently, but it's something that we are going to continue to do. We got a lot of requests to keep up with it. So we're going to keep doing that. And then, but this one is season 3, episode 10, called Sister Wives on the Strip. We watched this entirely way too many times because we literally watched it. Cory watched it and I went to bed one night, and then I got up the next morning. I'm like, let's watch it again. And then I ended up in the hospital that same day. And then we watched it again when we came home, and then I wasn't quite up for filming. So you guys are going to get this is a crazy episode.
Memorized.
Oh my gosh.
Memorized this.
We watched this
episode.
Yeah. And of course, why can't it be a super interesting episode? This one was okay, but there was a lot in it. We open up the episode with all the wives sitting around talking on the couch interview, and they're talking about Christine is, before we get into the video, I almost forgot. Gosh, we haven't been recording for so long that I almost forgot. We want to encourage you to do your healing. So if you are human with a human body, then you've experienced trauma, and we would really encourage people to find a modality of healing that works for you, because you deserve to be loved and your people deserve to be loved as deeply as possible. So we recommend any modality of healing that works for you. We recommend that you get started on that. And if you don't know what that is, that's a great opportunity to
start to search.
Yeah, start searching around, figure it out. So, okay, back to episode 10. So they're talking on the couch about antidepressants, which is what triggered my remembrance of the healing. And they're talking now, Utah. I don't know if many people know this, but there's studies out there. Utah is the #1 state in the country for antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. Unfortunately, a lot of the teachings, whether they're spoken or unspoken in the Mormon church, which obviously has trickled down into the polygamous church, it calls for a level of perfection, or people believe that it does.
That they need to be perfect in every way.
Exactly. And so that can cause a lot of depression. It can cause a massive amount of anxiety. And so my heart really felt for Christine. I was really proud of her that she openly discussed this. I didn't realize that any of the women had ever openly discussed this on the show, because I had never, we haven't watched it. And so I didn't know. One of the things that I really paid attention to was the body language of the 4 women. Cody wasn't on the couch. It was just the 4 women. And, you could see the amount of support and emotional support. Christine, it's hard for her. You can see she's got maybe some shame attached to talking about this, because it is something that you're embarrassed to admit. I've been on antidepressants before. I've never been on an anti-anxiety medication, but I've definitely been on antidepressants for seasons of my life. I haven't stayed on them for long periods of time, but for seasons, yeah. I mean, you got to get through whatever you've got to get through. And I'm sad that there is so much shame around that. I don't know that it's that same way around the country, or if it's just in Utah, because you're expected to be so, you have to, you have to have all your ducks in a row all the time. You got to be a mom, a wife, a Relief Society president, whatever it is, that whatever the demand is, then you add
righteous person.
Yeah.
So you can't have any sinful thoughts or anything like that. And so if you're feeling like that you have these sinful thoughts or frustrations or things like that, then you must be wrong, and then you need to go get yourself fixed, a blessing, or whatever it is. So
again, it comes back to, you're not reading your scriptures enough. You're not praying enough. So then then we'll take it on as something that we personally have done wrong. And so if I wanted to be, my anxiety to go away, I need to go get a blessing from a priesthood leader. I need to go have the prophet, tell me what to do. And so turning to modern medicines is not always the first option. So I was really grateful to see that they talked about it and that Christine openly admitted it. But the body language of the different wives on the couch, you've got Janelle, who is so engulfed in the story, in Christine's experience. You can see she gets very emotional about it. She starts to shed a tear, like
she's got empathy.
Yeah. So. And when Christine's like, I don't have to take as many pills anymore, Janelle celebrates that. You can see all of the energy around her celebrate it. You see Mary kind of go like, okay, good for you. And then you see, and these are my interpretations. This is my projection. None of this, I'm not saying by any means that I know what these women were feeling. My experience is Robin looked at her as almost like a little bit like, oh, you poor thing. I'm so glad you figured this out. There was a little bit more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Almost like Christine was pathetic for even having to be on, on a, and unfortunately, this is why there's shame around this. Yeah.
Judging, but I mean, or she could have been going, my plan is working. The first one.
I don't think she thought that, only because she was so far pregnant. I don't know that she had the capacity to calculate that, but then again, I've seen people do worse. So I just really wanted to point out that I really appreciated the way that Janelle had compassion and empathy for Christine. And I almost feel like Mary just, because in this episode, they very specifically say, the trainer comes out and says, Mary, you are like a tea kettle about ready to pop because your anxiety is what's going to keep your weight on you. I felt like this whole episode there was a lot of shame around this episode for these women because they're putting out there the things that we're not supposed to talk about, like your weight gain, your mental stability, your, and then the fact that, are you taking meds for this weight to lose the weight? Are you taking meds for this the anxiety? So yeah, I felt like there was a lot. This was more of a heavier episode where they talked about this. And then they wrapped it all up with go-go dancers on the strip in Vegas. Yeah. Like, what the hell? You went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
It's stuff that's probably assumed within the community that we grew up with, but never talked about. So,
right.
Yeah. You didn't talk about if, that person's having a hard time. Oh, they've calmed down. They must have taken something or got a good blessing, or depending on who want to take the credit for it. If it was the medical staff or the prophet's blessing, so whichever one.
Well,
so, or the combination of the both.
I was always taught, and I know a lot of other people were too, to do everything naturally as best as possible. And unfortunately, that doesn't always work. When you have these massive extreme emotions that, like, 1 minute you might be okay, and then all of a sudden you hear something that your sister wife did with your husband that you've always wanted to do, and boom, you spike.
This is a high stress society, high stress living conditions.
Exactly. And so you could be all over the emotional spectrum at any given moment. So but one of the things I really wanted to point out is these are the moments that do create trust between these women, because Christine is being extremely vulnerable by speaking about this. And then you've got Janelle emotionally engaged with her, and you can feel it. And then you've got Mary, who's kind of a little bit more offish. And then you've got Robin, who's like, too bad you had to go get on antidepressants. Too bad. Yeah, you should probably treat your husband like your best customer, and you'll never be on antidepressants, because, and so you could just feel the level. And these are the vulnerable moments that create that trust and bond between these women.
And she can sit there and say, well, I'm not on that type stuff. You make me perfectly happy. There's so many things.
So many spirals.
Yeah, different things that they can do to kind of shame each other. So yeah, at the beginning of this episode was definitely a shaming session.
It felt that way, huh? So. Well, and here's the thing too, is that do they have medical insurance? Do they not have medical insurance? How are they paying for these prescriptions? That's another thing Robin could be like, well, I'm not just saying necessarily Robin, but women who are like Robin. Yeah, she's draining the financial resources because she's on these medications and we don't have insurance. Or do they? I don't know whether they do or not. But there's like Cory said, there's so many different aspects. And there's these little comments that get made. Oh, that's a shame that Christine has to be on antidepressants. Oh, that's too bad. This is how women can undermine other women in this religion, because then it puts a little, sliver between the husband and the wife who is on the antidepressants. But then you've got somebody like Janelle that's like, oh, sweetheart, I'm so happy that you're doing this. I'm so happy that you're finding happiness. And so then she would approach Cody with that same enthusiasm. Hey, I'm so happy that Christine is finally starting to find happiness. I want you to be happy as a husband. And if you're less stressed, it makes all of our lives better. So I'm so happy that she's found this. So many different directions that just the antidepressant conversation could go on. And so many undertones. And that's what I think that's the word I was looking for earlier. It's just the looks and the undertones that you get when you're the one who needs this medication.
Well, and when you're in this big family, you get all sorts of different ones, those undertones, those opinions, those things coming at you for the same what is it, statement that you're making. Hey, this is exciting for me. And then you got all these different ideas and undertones coming at you.
Yeah. And it's not just in the polygamous community. I don't know. I mean, I'm speaking mostly to the polygamous community and then the state of Utah in general, because this Mormonism is the prominent religion here. This could probably be happening in other religions as well. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but yeah, bravos to Christine for being that vulnerable. Mm-hmm. I feel like they've been vulnerable in a lot of ways so far, all the way up to season 3. But this is one of the bigger ones that we've seen that wouldn't normally be talked about, I don't think. Because you've got shows like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm wondering if every single one of those girls are on something like that, but it's never spoken about because there's so much shame attached to it, which is really sad, because there is help out there and help available. So if you are suffering from this kind of, sadness, there's help. Go out there and get that kind of help. Yeah. So then they start talking about working out. So this episode just keeps going. And then they go to the gym and they're all in their long sleeves with their t-shirts over the top, or their tank tops over the top, which I was like, why even wear that? Why double layer? Because now you've got a layer of garments on, then you have underwear on, then you have long sleeve t-shirts or pants, and then you've got a tank top over the top. Like, sweetheart, that tank top is just as snug as the other shirt is. Just take a layer off, give yourself a break. It's so hot.
Good way to lose weight. Just sweat it out.
Especially in Vegas. It's like, what are you guys thinking? So then they're talking about opening. It's funny. So many of you guys have said this in our comments. Oh my gosh, the Browns are going to open one business after another. So yeah, I feel a little whiplash because wait, 2 episodes ago, weren't we going to open a real estate business? And now we're going to open a fitness business. So
real estate fitness.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Oh.
Yeah. Buy it here. You can do your lunges as you walk from house to house to see which one you want. So yeah, that I found it interesting that as they're doing their weigh-ins, Janelle's is the only weight that they say out loud. They don't say any other weights out loud. When they did the initial, and then when they did the month follow-up. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so how much weight they'd lost, but not an initial weight.
No, right? They said her exact weight.
Oh, did they?
I think it was like 268 or something like that. They said the exact number. And so I thought that shocked me a little bit, because here you've got Christine now admitting antidepressants, and you've got now Janelle being weighed on the scale. And so I'm like, okay, where's, like, if everything's equal between sister wives, where's the equality and this vulnerability in this episode? But again, what do I know? And then they're talking about let's see, Modesty.
They were talking about the rebellious children.
Mm-hmm. Modest is hottest. I mean, that's a stupidest It's not stupid because I do agree with modesty, but for me, I feel like this was a term that has been thrown around my entire life throughout the whole state of Utah as a shaming. It's a way to shame people. Modest is hottest. Oh, sweetheart, look at your sleeves are a little bit, I see the ends of your shoulders. So I purposely wore a tank top on this episode for that reason.
Yeah.
But it just says, oh, and then Janelle talks about that our church does not require certain types of dresses. They just, like the FLDS, they require all the women to wear a certain thing, certain uniform type clothes. And now that was not always the case. That really didn't come about until the mid 90s, early 2000s is when that came about. Before that, women wore what they wanted to wear in the FLDS.
You couldn't tell the FLDS
from the AUB.
From the AUB either. So.
Nope. So they were all very, very similar. It wasn't until Warren Jeffs took over, and I think that was early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s when that happened. So Janelle just talks about how our church doesn't require any sort of dress. And she's right to some degree, but there are still dress standards that they hold. That it's like, I believe one of my dad's wives put out a list recently, allegedly she did, because what are they called? The leggings, the girls were wearing leggings. And so those have been banned from the AUB is my understanding. So there is a lot because they were too short, shape. And they don't want to see that. So in the FLDS, if you notice, most of the dresses are like potato sack dresses where they go straight down. They don't hug a figure. And that's what it is. They don't want your clothes tight enough to hug a woman's figure because after all, don't want to entice those men with any of the goods that you got going on.
But isn't it kind of requested to wear a dress for the women at church? And then the guy should be wearing a nice dress.
Yeah.
Pants and shirt at least.
Yeah. So there's no requirement that each woman wear what they want, but there is required. You do have to cover your garments. You do have to, and in fact, there's even been debate for a long, long time because women would wear these dresses and sometimes they'd go mid calf or they'd go up to your knee. And there was a lot of, discussion around that. Like, well, wait a minute. If you have to roll your garments in order to wear a dress, that's inappropriate. And then there's symbols on the garments and there is a symbol on the garments on the knee. And so if you have to roll your garments up above your symbol, then you can't do that. So there is still a lot of different, not requirements, but yes, they're requirements.
Yeah. You'd be shamed if you showed up with a short dress. So.
Right. They talk a lot about the piercings and tattoos. We were not allowed to have piercings. We were not allowed to have tattoos. Most of the girls, quite a few girls I knew did get pierced ears. But yeah, a lot of them were not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So then we've got Cody at home with all the kids.
Well, Robin does say there in that the rebellious children will thank us later. So thanks, Robin. Those children thank you. And I find it interesting that all of her children are younger. Obviously, some of them misbehave, but they're not rebellious. These other ones are rebellious. So let's point our gaze upon the rebellious ones that are setting the bad example for her children. So
right. When she says, well, we just tell them what they have to do and they'll
thank us later.
Yeah. When they balk back, well, all I think to myself is they'll thank us later for keeping them modest. I know a lot of people who felt completely the opposite. There was a lot of anger and angst in a lot of teenagers that I knew that felt shamed and bullied into wearing certain clothes.
So now Cody's babysitting.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and then I've got McKelty right here in her tank top and Modesty. But Cody's babysitting. Of course he's going to be watching Robin's kids because she doesn't have older children to do that.
Yeah. Well, they're all gathering at Christine's house.
Right.
And all of the kids are there. And so this is typical. I mean, this is very similar to the way I grew up. And that is you as the older children were required to help babysit, take care of, especially if the mothers weren't there. The dad was busy doing stuff, and the kids can't sit around and just relax or work on their homework if they're older. The younger ones, yeah, I'm so proud of himself because he's helping Dayton work on his homework. But any of the other kids that are just sitting or relaxing or doing their homework and that are not helping are getting in trouble. They are the responsible ones. Mm-hmm. They are the ones that step in place of the mother when the mother's not there. And one night and Cody's exhausted. So
and he pats himself on the back. Oh, I helped do homework and it actually got done. And so he's so proud of himself.
And he's just impressing it up with Robin. And he got them fed, helped feed the kids, but he was harping on the older kids to get most of the work done. And then those kids are putting their younger siblings to bed while he can go home, put Robin's kids to bed, and then get on the phone and look what I did. I was amazing.
And that's part of parentifying children that's just so frustrating. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that when these types of episodes came out, people commented about it, because for us, that's what felt normal. Here, I know Christine just had a baby, truly. Here, Aspen, you go put her to bed. Logan, you go put your mom's kids to bed. And then he barks at Leon at one point because she's sitting on the couch, and he barks at her and is like, you're getting on my very thin nerve. And I guarantee you he's behaving himself because there's cameras there.
Yeah. Because they're sitting there relaxing for a few moments.
It brought up a lot of frustration for the two of us because we are both the oldest. Yeah. And we were both required to do so many things that's like, I didn't have these children. Tell me why I'm the one that has to take care of all of them now. And I understand that they're in a family, and I understand that it's a family effort. But I promise you, Cody had his best behavior on because there was cameras. If cameras were not there, those kids never all get together in the same house. Aspen watches Christine's kids, Logan watches Janelle's kids, Cody goes over to Robin's, and Leon's left at home by herself. And so that's how Leon is used to that. She's not used to being right on top of taking care of all the little kids, not at the same level that Aspen was, not at the same level that Logan was.
Well, and they have homework to do. The older kids all have other things to do, and yet they are the fill-in for the mothers. I would say the mothers there.
They're the nurturing.
Yeah, and Cody's just, and so and I found it just laughable that he is taking on I am such a good dad. Look what I did. Da da da. And they're going, no, he's deer in the headlights. They don't. He doesn't do this. They did that for show, because usually it's the kids that are taking care of the other kids. And you know what? As a kid growing up, I was okay with helping with my brothers and sisters.
I did too. I didn't know any different.
Part of the job. I didn't know any different. I did get frustrated when I would be babysitting for but this was it only happened twice, but once that I remember, some other wife's kids that were coming in, that she was just coming into the family. Why? You have so many kids. You don't need to be out dating another thing. So yes.
So when your dad was dating a woman that already had children, and they were dropping them off for you to have to care for,
to play with, hang out with, do stuff.
Then they're done that too.
So they can go on their
they can go on their dates together. So
and
now
it's just like, you got enough wives, you've got enough kids. Take a chill pill. Come on.
And what do you say?
Kids. So
you don't go into your wife and say, hey, can you babysit my girlfriend's children so I can take her out on a date? No. You take your children to babysit her children. Mm-hmm. And so that's
a play date. So
yeah. Well, and what I found interesting, and this just shows some of the differences between the children. And of course, we don't know, we're not seeing all the edits, but Leon barks back at Cody because she's not afraid of him the same way that the other children possibly could be. And so, because it's like, well, wait a second, you're not being clear about what it is that you need or want from me. And so you're just yelling at me when I'm not doing what you expect me to do. I really appreciated the way that Leon communicated with Cory in that, or Cody in that moment. Sorry, babe.
Yeah, no.
Because Aspen's not going to say those things. She's too afraid, or she just gets in there and does it because that's what she does.
She pointed out the obvious to him about the sniffing of the markers, though.
But she stood there timidly and then raised her hand and waited to get called on.
Yeah, sniffing.
Yeah.
Markers, yeah.
Where Leon barked right back and was like, you're not being clear. I don't know what it is you need. You're yelling at me when I'm not fulfilling what it is you need. I got this happened to me all the time growing up. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Why didn't you just tell me that you needed me to change a baby's diaper? And it's like, well, you should already know this. Your mom's not here. It's your responsibility.
And it is something that I work on today because I'm 54 years old and I try to peter around, and I feel like if I sit down and relax too much, I get in trouble, or I'll get in trouble by myself.
We have this a lot. This is
moving, doing something.
So. Especially since our youngest is 18 now, we notice this a lot. We'll just be sitting on the couch and like he'll come home from showing houses or something, and I'll just be like, and I'll have a moment of anxiety of I need to get up and get cleaning before he gets in here. Like I need to be doing something. I can't just be sitting here.
Can't just be relaxing.
Right.
So
50. We're both in our 50s, and we still have this trauma reaction.
That anxiety of I could get in trouble.
Yeah. So the interactions with Cody and his kids on this episode was really telling of a bunch of stuff. And especially when he barks at McKelty for when she came in the door and she had the tank top on, and he sends her upstairs. And she's like, Mom knew what I was wearing. This shows you these men are not involved in the daily activities of these children or the daily activities of homework. He acts like he did something massively wonderful because he helped a child with homework one night. This is Robin's life. This is Christine's life. This is Janelle's life daily. And they don't get gold stickers on their forehead because they helped a child do homework one night. And they're parenting and raising these children on their own, which I understand they're trying to get back into one house because the whole 4-house situation makes you a monogamist 4 times over. That's all it does. You're not living polygamy. You're living monogamy with 4 different polygamous women. But now he's coming into discipline. And this is one of the things I think I got the most frustrated with growing up. My mom would say one thing was okay, and then my dad would get home and lose his temper on me, screaming and yelling at me.
Because mom was not fulfilling what he felt was the right, but he wasn't there to enforce it. And when he got there, he did enforce with
a strong hand,
anger.
And so a lot of times too, these women are so overwhelmed with working full time and then having children that sometimes they just go, you know what, whatever, just wear the tank top to school. I don't want to fight with you. And then dad comes in and goes, you did not wear that to school, did you? And so this is where the confusion can come in. This is where polygamous children's nervous systems can get completely out of whack because they're so confused. Well, wait a minute, this is okay, but this isn't okay. And it's a constant change of ground rules. It's a constant change of family boundaries and dynamics. And so you quickly learn to walk on eggshells around certain people because you don't know if you're going to get in trouble for what it is you're doing or not doing.
And you could have a conversation with your mother, you know what I mean, and work something out. Hey, negotiate, work something out. Would it be okay if I did this for this reason? That was great. And ours was, hey, we work in the morning. Can we do all of our work that we're required to do on the farm early in the morning and then spend the afternoon? Yes, we get an okay from one parent on that. We do all the work in the morning, we leave, and then the other parent shows up and gets lividly angry because you weren't there working on it. And there's no communication. It's like you as a kid have to communicate with each person, each parent, to make sure, or you don't, and you're going to get in trouble by somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody within the family is going to be mad at you no matter what. So you're walking on eggshells because you communicated with your mother, but you didn't tell
This
the dad
mother
or that
or
mother.
that dad.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it was anxious way to grow up for sure.
And a lot of children actually develop personality disorders of people pleasing because they're so afraid that they're going to be in trouble for something that they did that mom said was okay, but dad said wasn't,
Yeah.
or dad's other wives said they were.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole subject we could go into. In fact, we should do that on a separate video, maybe the parenting of children. Okay. So then of course the older kids end up taking the younger kids home, putting them to bed. And Cody sits back like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, dude, what did you do? You bossed kids around and you fed them pizza. Okay, great. Like that. I do that every day. So,
I had a better experience growing up. My dad used to watch us once a week. And so the mothers would get food on the table, everybody to eat, and then they would go to the Relief Society meeting. So for a couple hours, he would watch us. And yeah, if one of the kids needed a diaper change, us older kids changed the diapers.
I've never seen my dad change a diaper once in my entire life.
He would turn out all the lights sometimes and scare us around the house. We would go into the bathroom and then have to come out looking for him. So that was a fun memory that I've had in my life growing up, and I try to do that with my kids and grandkids. So
see, and I think if Cody would have taken the opportunity to maybe, hey, let's play games with the kids, or but it's almost like I don't know, like he was trying to show the cameras how like frantic and crazy it can be with this many kids and and only one adult to help take care of them. I don't know. I was kind of disappointed in the way
he was a stretch that you said one adult. So
he's the biggest baby there.
Yeah.
So, okay. So now you've got the wives, they're walking on the strip. They're all hanging out. They're all doing their thing. They're all very awkwardly dressed comparatively to the people around them. You know, I have never understood.
They stand out.
Yeah. I've never understood, nor have I ever actually like participated much in the wear the long sleeves and a t-shirt over the top, or I don't understand that look. I don't think that it's flattering in any way, but it's almost like, oh, I want to wear this t-shirt, but I need to wear my garment. So now I'm going to wear a long sleeve and then put my t-shirt over because the t-shirt is so cute. I don't know. And especially in Vegas in 100-degree weather, like people on the strip, of course, are going to be staring at them, and they have a camera crew following them. So you can see people constantly like staring at them and following them, and they're walking down the strip, and Robin's pregnant, and she talks about the icky, yucky feelings that they get around people. And now I am a huge energy believer. I believe that I understand that when people come around you with kind of, you know, maybe less than desirable energy, you can feel it. She talks about this alien guy that keeps following her, and then at one point he puts his hand on her shoulder. Now, Warrant, he should never have crossed that boundary. You don't touch other people without their permission. Like it's a personal boundaries thing. And he obviously crossed a boundary by touching her, but she freaks out, makes this big, huge scene about it. And then Christine tries to calm her down. Right. I'm like, it felt so over the top. And she's like, I just had an icky, yucky vibe about him, and I just didn't want him to be around me. Great. That's respectable. I understand that. And then she causes this big, huge scene, but they're sitting on the couch. And what I thought was even funny is when the four of these women are on the couch together is when I pay the most attention to the way that they interact with each other too. And she's like, and I sat there and I was like, don't mess with my sister wife. And Mary does a verbal laugh, but Janelle and Christine are like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like they did not feel like they were entertaining that as funny. Yeah. It's almost like, yeah, we had to protect you because you were being a crybaby about
Robin,
what was happening.
Got scared because she got a glimpse of what Cody was going to look in season 19.
No, yeah, truthfully. And so then they're talking about choice and choosing. And this right here is another example of why I don't feel like they purposely came out to mislead the public about their lifestyle, because for them, they believe this is choice. They're choosing to do these things. So they're trying to be as accountable about certain things as they can. And so in their mind, they're not misleading everyone about what's really happening. They're just not verbalizing the crap and the shit in the background. They're just talking about all the positive things about polygamy, but they talk about their conservative dress. And Janelle says, yes, I believe in conservative dress. I believe in modesty. I believe in handling myself. And we're all at choice. We can choose what to wear. And I agreed with her to a point. The AUB, I would say, out of all of the polygamous cults that are out there, the AUB is the most relaxed and friendly when it comes to that. I know they've tightened their guidelines and restrictions a lot more over the last couple of years, but the women for the most part could wear what they wanted to, but it still had to fit within the wearing your garments. You still couldn't not wear garments. And I know for you guys growing up, your parents said, we don't wear garments, but we will wear our clothing as if we did wear garments for the children. So the children had to.
So yeah, we had to wear long sleeve shirts and pants our whole lives. So
yeah,
till we rebelled, and I went to Vegas in shorts. So great. So it was nice and cool.
Not me. I went to Vegas several times wearing my garments, and that was miserable. And they were hard. Not that I went to Vegas, but we drove through Vegas. Vegas was considered obviously Sin City. We were so shamed. You never go to Vegas for anything. And if you do, you get off the freeway, you get gas or you get food, and then you get right back on because you don't want to be sucked into that vortex of evil. And so you're just not allowed to go down to the strip or down to anything like that. We did a few times, but every time I did, man, my judgments about the women and the people and the scantily dressed girls were all over the place. Like I was not a nice person. Yeah. And I can imagine how judgmental I was, but I didn't know any different. I didn't know any better. That's how I was raised to look at it. And so, yeah, they talk about the Vegas girls and how they're all naked. And it's an entire, oh gosh, the word just went right out of my brain. It's like a shift in your conscious, like sorry, I'm trying to think of the word, where you're so used to being in such a conservative environment that when all of a sudden you switch and you're in an environment where there's literally half naked girls all over the place, you're like, it's a shock to your system. It's almost like you don't know how to react. You don't know what to do.
Well, they want to judge, but I think that's where Janelle kind of comes in and tries to, I don't want to judge. I wish these guys, I'm glad that these guys get a choice because that's all I want is a choice in. And so they're almost in a tug of war of, they want everybody to be able to have that choice because that choice has been taken away from them to live the way they want in polygamy. But even though these other people have the right to choose, they should choose modesty. They should choose. I'm still going to judge you for. I'm still going to judge you for your choice. So true. But I'm glad that we all have choices so that I can live my choice, and that's modesty. That's multiple wives. That's all that stuff. So
well, and I think out of all the wives, Janelle's the least judgmental.
Yeah,
but I think Christine is now. But at the time, I think Janelle was the most open-minded, maybe. But yeah, we are taught zero tolerance for that type of nakedness. Like that is just not okay. Like you cannot do that. Okay. One thing I really enjoyed watching is, yes, they went ziplining. I really do enjoy watching the banter between Christine and Mary because they really were good friends. There was obviously you're going to have the conflict because you're sleeping with the same man. There's no way around that. But they do have good banter back and forth. They have like, it's interesting because I watch the banter between Christine and Mary and it's fun and it's light and it's exciting. But then between Mary and Robin, it's almost like Mary's begging for Robin's approval. And so there's not as much, it's not as fun. So it's not as a very fun of experience as those two are just, we're sisters. We have this bond together, whatever it was. And good for them if they do that. That's awesome. But okay. So now we're back to the gym. We're just about to wrap up this episode. And then they're talking about now we're in for our 1 year or 1 month weigh in. And that's when Mary says, come on, come and tell us how fat we still are. And Christine's all, shut up, Mary. And so there's just that fun banter between the two of them. And, but okay, this is a total assumption on my end. I don't know this. I haven't seen this in any other. That's when I can see Robin saying, why do you let Christine talk to you like that? Like, that sounds disrespectful and rude. And then you start creating slivers. We've seen Robin do this with Cody. We've seen Robin do this with Cody and some of the other wives, but that's something that I'm not saying that that's happened. I just, knowing sister wives who are like Robin, I can see her saying something like that. Like, why would you let Christine talk to you? That was so disrespectful. So take that for whatever it's worth.
Knowing Robin's mom and the training that she has trained Robin to do, that's exactly what she was doing. So.
Yeah, I can see her saying that. Well, and then it's like, the body shaming. Yeah. They come in and again, Janelle's the only one that they say her weight out loud. I do think it's funny that Cody's like, I trust my wives. They're shameless flirt. Christine's a shameless flirt. I know she's going to be flirting with the trainer. I can't think of what his name is. But I just think that's interesting that he says that, because not very many women in the polygamous community can say the same thing about their husband. Oh yeah. Because he's constantly in dating mode. All the time. And so I thought it was so the hypocrisy and the smugness of, oh yeah, my wives are loyal to me. And so therefore I trust them, even though she's a shameless flirt. I'll forgive her for that flaw because she's so loyal to me.
I haven't got a kidney knife in the kidney yet.
Not quite yet.
But it's coming.
Yeah. And so then they're talking about, the trainer saying, Mary, you're full of anxiety. You're full of, this is going to make it so that you don't lose weight. And this is
stress of the end of the world, man. That's hard stuff.
Well, and then Mary gets on there and the couch and she's crying and she's like, yeah, I don't always know. Can we pay the rent next month? And these are the moments that are on eggshells. So when Christine 10 seasons later says, we couldn't always be real around Mary, we were walking on eggshells. These are the moments that I think that she's talking about. Now, the trainer can say that to her. The trainer can be like, listen, you're so high strung, nobody can even talk to you. You're yelling at people, you're, emotional stress. And she doesn't know how to let all that go. And when you're a sister wife, you can't be honest. There's just not room for honesty. And so it's like, that's why I say, when I went through this training at 20 years old, I didn't realize how out of integrity that I was, because I couldn't be honest. And I wasn't lying to be a liar. I was lying or omitting things out of protection for feelings, because
or feelings, or because that person wasn't righteous enough to know
your intent of your heart.
So yeah, there's because you are so much better than everyone around you.
Right.
So you're raised as a special child, a special picked out of all of the people on earth to be the special breed of people.
It's so true. Well, and then the trainer flat out says, Mary presents her stress more than any of the other ones. She lashes out in anger at other people. Or Mary says this, I lash out in anger at other people. So I want to try to, when I notice these moments that I think we're seeing, because how many moments are we not seeing? They're recording and we're seeing and 45 minutes of 2 weeks of their lives. So when they allow us to see these moments, I want to point them out. These are the moments I believe that Christine is saying, it's hard to be around Mary. It's hard to be honest with Mary. We're walking on eggshells around Mary all the time. And then Mary doesn't know how to always control that. So she lashes out at children whose mother might be pissing her off. She lashes out at Cody, who might not be doing what, and I'm not trying to pick on Mary at all here. I'm just saying these are this is where the stress of this religion shows up in women and shows up in their body language and the way that they hold themselves and the way that they can't lose weight because they're angry all the time.
Well, and they're responsible. Mary was the first wife. And then, yes, Janelle brings money in and does stuff like that, but Mary has been working with Cody to make sure that things are being taken care of.
Right.
So there's a level of stress that she has taken on, or that she has as a first wife, where some other wives just put bills on tables and don't worry about it.
Where should I put this bill? On the counter, and you're just going to pay that?
And that
she doesn't have to worry
has
about
to
it.
go on to Mary's, Janelle's, Cody's shoulders.
Right.
So that stress is put over there, so another wife can just relax and know that bill gets paid. So.
And that's, I mean, all she's focused on is being a mother. She doesn't have to focus on taking care
of her customer.
And that's really where some of these relationships are so deprived of the entirety of a relationship, because they're not paying bills together. They're not raising children together. They're not, doing discipline together. You miss so much of the entirety of the relationship. This is, again, what I agree with Janelle when she's like, we were in the trenches. We're the ones in the trenches together. We're the ones, for 16 years, 17 years before Robin came around, we're the ones figuring out parenting styles, figuring out all of this. And so it really is a disservice to a lot of the entirety of the familial relation of husband and wife raising children together, children being raised by parents, not a mother, but by parents. And so, yeah, this show, I felt like this episode really picked out a lot of those different dynamics that, Cody doesn't know what it's like to raise children every night and do homework every night. Robin doesn't know what it's like to stress out about bills because she puts it on a counter. Mary gets to handle that. The loyalty and about, I don't worry about my wives because they're loyal to me, even though they're shameless flirt. So there was a lot of shame wrapped up in this episode. I thought, in my experience of it, maybe it's why it took us so long to actually make a video on it, because it was really kind of obnoxious. So the next episode is season 3, episode 11. And it goes, Cody climbs in the ring. We watched some of it. And so we have a whole take on that one. That one will be a lot shorter because, maybe talking about Cody and testosterone, that's going to be about 5 minutes long.
Maybe do.
Well, 12 looks like that's the one I believe Robin offers to be a surrogate. So I kind of want to do a whole encompassing video around that one.
Let's watch him wrestling in the ring.
Yeah, Cory's like
practicing his tryst.
And what's interesting too on that one is that Jeff Aldridge is in this one, and he is the one on Seeking Sister Wives. And I didn't even know him and Cody were friends. And I'm curious if they are friends or if they were just introducing Jeff to the camera system of how.
Oh, because
he was going to do Seeking Sister Wives with his wives. So maybe this was a way for TLC to drop him into the filming of, here's what it's going to look like for you and your family while we're filming Seeking Sister Wives. I don't know, because I didn't know that Jeff and Cody were even friends. There's quite an age difference there too, but I could be wrong. What do I know? I don't know much. But
Cody and I haven't been friends. I think it's because he's so much older than me.
He's like 2 years older than you. You and I are fantastic friends, and you're only 3 years older than me.
I was a young kid compared to them. So.
Yeah. So hope you liked our recap of this episode and our interpretations. Again, these are just our
opinions.
We could be completely way off in left field. This is just our experiences.
So a lot of the stuff that we pull from is how we grew up with
our own personal experience.
Our personal experience being kids. So
yeah, and we do appreciate it when you guys drop, hey, you guys forgot to talk about this in the episode.
Yeah.
So if there's things in an episode that you want us to make sure that we look at, please shoot us off
this one
comment or
3 or 4 times. So kind of missed a bit.
Yeah.
A bit of it. So
yeah. So please let us know what you guys thought in the comments. We really appreciate all your feedback. And again, we will continue doing these rewatch, or well, they're not rewatches for us. They're a first time watch. So we really do them, but let us know what you guys thought in the comments, if we hit everything that you wanted us to hit. And if you have anything you want us to look forward to, especially in the episode coming up where Robin offers to be a surrogate.
Yay.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So thank you so much. Wait for the next episodes coming soon.
Thanks, guys.